This is cute. This is really cute. And I mean, and pink. I'm in pink. The drinks are in pink. That's an interesting little vibe. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good.
These as strong as last week's. I mean, on a scale of 1 to 5, last week you did a bourbon smash and something else that was with bourbon again. So is this as strong as that? And I'm saying scale to 1 to 5. That was a 4.88.
So I feel like it's about a 5.
You know what?
I mean, the spirit is vodka, but it's mostly vodka.
That's interesting that you put us at a 5 because these glasses are so cute. I keep getting distracted because I like little stuff. But I mean, I'm in my all pink. It's Women's History Month. We just finished Black History Month. Of course, we live 365 Black and 365 Woman, but we're in all of this pink because, I mean, we're talking about a strong topic, a Category 5 topic.
Okay.
Yeah, maternal mortality.
Oh.
You know what that is, kind of?
I feel like, so does it have anything to do with childbirth? Because it's something that I feared having my son.
I'm glad you said the word fear.
Yeah.
Because it's crazy that you hear maternal mortality and it's like, oh my goodness.
That's what I think.
I read a crazy article that a colleague of mine, Dr. Vanessa Goodar, wrote. And it said, why can't we have babies like white women? And she like shocked the world with that article. And I knew that if I had a platform at any point, I'm like, I got to talk about it because I mean, I'm not a mom and I want to be. And like you said, fear, it's kind of scary.
That's really how you feel though,
Yeah.
pregnant. Well, I know I did. I can't speak for all Black women, but I love the journey of pregnancy, but it was that giving birth part where I was like,
And what's crazy, you think like the giving birth part is the part that you have to be scared of because the pain is coming. The article and all the stories that I've read, it's like scary at the onset because what are they going to do to me? So I think that's kind of what I'm asking all the experts today, like beyond just the pain of it. It's like, what are you doing to me that I don't even know about? Like, who can we trust? It feels like, you know,
it's going to be a deep
undercover
one.
stuff. I don't know.
This is like the perfect cocktail for this.
Well, look, go. Well, what is it? Tell me what we're drinking to match this Category 5 topic.
So the vibe I wanted to set tonight, it's called a prickly pear martini. And pretty much it is vodka based. And I'll actually make one while you're here.
Okay.
Start with 2 ounces of vodka of your choice.
I would say what my choice was if I could, but I lost the whole summer to it.
Okay.
I'm not going to say the name, but it rhymes with Doritos.
Okay.
Right.
Then do a 1/2 ounce of Saint Germain.
Okay.
Or elderflower liqueur. Do a 1/2 ounce of prickly pear.
Now,
syrup.
so you can get the syrup of the fruit? That sound like I'm on Game of Thrones. But you can get prickly pear syrup or any fruit syrup at the liquor store?
Liquor store.
Okay.
Yep. Pretty much any of them.
And what's
this is
that?
a 1/2 ounce of lemon juice.
Does it matter if it's fresh squeeze or if it's those little bottles that you can get?
Well, I use fresh. But you know what? Pretty much to me, like, I would say either or.
And
I use the bottles if I'm trying to be lazy.
I got you. I got a great debate question. So rose lime and lime or lemon juice is completely different than make it. Okay, so you can't say I don't need lime. Give me Rose's lime like it's the same.
Now, Rose's lime to me is a little sweeter. It's nothing like fresh, like a fresh squeezed lime.
Okay.
Like, or just you could buy it a fresh squeeze like lime juice, just like the lemon juice.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not the same.
It's just more expensive.
Uh-huh.
And the shake. Is this a household item now? Does everybody have a? Should you have a martini shaker?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, if you expect to have the perfect martini.
So I can't take the 2 plastic cups?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's not the same.
So you see my fancy glass?
Loving it.
Listen, I have a problem. And this is, I think it's an accessory, like glassware. I like to show up with my glass. And I have an issue with drinking out of plastic.
Okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
So your
Nothing
prerogative.
Wrong with the issue? Okay.
Your prerogative.
I don't know.
We're going to garnish it with a pear.
That's cute.
I don't know if it'll sit on this glass. Your glass is big. Right?
Okay.
Okay.
I'll hold it here for us to take the sip.
Mm-hmm. Now, this would be perfect for today's topic.
So cheers to learning more about maternal mortality.
Mm-hmm.
Just alone.
I'll be tasting.
What's around the rim is making me happy.
It's just red sugar, girl.
Okay.
I mean, it fits with everything else, though. I didn't even think about that.
Okay. Well, I have 3 glasses here because I have 3 amazing guests. I'm all
Okay.
about getting experience with expertise. So, being in this industry, you run into some amazing mentors, and I did an all call to get some maternal mortality stories, just Black women comfortable enough to kind of share some things with me. So, I got a mom here, a mom of 5,
Okay.
and I have a doula here that can let us know where we came from and where we should be on our way back to. And then I have one of the most respected medical professionals here with me, Dr. Nichelle Bush, who will give you all of the insight on some of the things that she's seen in the emergency room.
Okay.
Because, hey, sometimes it's definitely a 911 situation, right? So pour them up,
Okay.
and I'll get ready to serve them and talk to them. Thanks, Jay.
No, you're welcome. Enjoy.
All right. I'm excited and a little nervous. I was sitting at the bar with Jay, and she made this prickly pear martini, and it's strong, but I'm still not thinking it's as strong as the topic of maternal mortality. So I know that I always say that the name of the show is I Found My Words, but being someone who is in the process of planning a pregnancy, I have to ask some questions and get some stuff I guess, answered as it relates to this whole process. So I was serious about the invitations today to kind of get as much insight as I can from a lot of different areas to help myself find my words, help you find your words. So I wanted a mom, a doula, and all things medicine and emergency on the same day in the same spot to try to give us as much perspective as we can possibly get. So I'm going to throw it to the mother in the house, the mother of 5. Can you tell us who you are and a little bit about all them kids?
Okay, well, my name is RASHENA. I'm a homeschool mom of 5. I've had all birth experiences from emergency C-section to all natural unassisted home birth. That has been an interesting
All natural,
journey.
unassisted.
Home
So
birth.
this is where my head just went.
All
You know,
natural, unassisted.
I'm watching my shows, my water breaks. I'm in the living room and nobody can help me but the people in the house.
Yes.
Oh.
But the people in the house, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. So I actually studied so much after I had my emergency C-section. I just didn't want that experience again. I ended up having my second birth, which was an emergency C-section. My daughter I had preeclampsia with her and HELP syndrome, and they end up having to give me an emergency C-section, and it was one of the scariest times of my life. She was born at 28 weeks.
Okay.
2 pounds, 1 ounce. She spent like 56 days in a NICU, and I just didn't want that experience again. So I did all the studying that I could to not have that experience again. I didn't want to not have kids because me and my husband wanted more children. So I just had to find all of the pieces so that I wouldn't have that experience again. And
Okay. So an emergency C-section,
yes,
at home, non-assisted birth,
which my last one, yes.
and then the other 3.
The first one, I end up having preeclampsia with that birth, but he was born at about 38 weeks. So he was healthy enough to come home with me, so I didn't think anything of it, but I actually made sure that I recorded my history, my medical history, so that when I had my second birth, I would tell all of the healthcare providers, but that didn't help telling them all of my history and exactly what happened with me with my first birth. So it was
how
on
you
me
recorded
after
your
that.
history. So
Yes.
we already have the work of getting pregnant, being pregnant.
Yes.
You have to take notes on yourself.
You do.
You take the notes on yourself and it doesn't matter
It doesn't matter.
because nobody's reading them notes. Nobody's listening to the notes.
So they want to monitor you. So when I had my second birth, which was the emergency C-section, they wanted to monitor me through the whole thing. And I told them exactly what the problem was. I tried to I changed doctors several times to make sure I had a specialist in case, so this wouldn't happen, but it ended up happening, and even worse that time. So yeah, it was a scary situation.
And you still feel like the memory takes you right back. You still feel like you can't believe you even.
Yes, it was Yeah, it was a scary time, and it was a hard journey going through the NICU. The NICU process. It's a whole new world that I didn't even know existed until I had a preemie.
It's interesting, like when I think about my timeline, when I think about friends, family, sorority sisters, it's a lot of pictures and a lot of posting about premature babies, my baby's second birthday, my baby is finally able to make it home. And
Yes.
I don't know if I'm paying close attention because I'm thinking about that journey, or if it's just way more of us that are, I'm going to say, being targeted or not being listened to, because I hear you saying things like preeclampsia, and it's a term that I probably hear too often as well.
Yeah.
You know, a friend of mine who's extremely healthy as it relates to her food choices, she said that she went to her doctor early in her pregnancy and noticed that her blood pressure was going up.
Yes.
And that the doctor asked her to stop eating fried food. And this is a woman who never eats fried food. And she said, well, I guess they just assumed that I had a bucket of chicken at home because I was a black woman.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
So with preeclampsia, or with anything that you took in your own notes, what was happening as they weren't listening?
So I actually had a prenatal visit the day before I was having issues that sent me to the emergency room, that sent me to the hospital when I was going to have that emergency C-section. I went to my normal visit. Everything panned out fine. But then later that night, I was having some pain in a part of my stomach that I wasn't accustomed to. It wasn't normal, like cramping or anything. It was just pain in my upper right quadrant of my stomach. And it just lasted all night. And I'm like, okay, this needs to be looked at. So I drove myself to the hospital, because that's what I had to do that morning. Mm-hmm. And I explained to the nurse and everybody that was checking me in exactly what my birth history was. I told them what I experienced. I told them what I'm feeling like. I even explained to them, you know, that I think something was going on with my liver, which is what HELLP syndrome is. It affects your liver. And I think something was going on with my liver, and the nurse just nonchalantly sat me in the bed, and I sat there for like 35 to 45 minutes until somebody came in and even took a look at me. And, you know, I was tossing and turning in this bed in pain, and I just sat there in it. And then it wasn't until the doctors and nurses from another hospital, because I was going to be transferred to a higher acute care hospital, that they decided, okay, we're going to listen to this baby a little bit closer, and found that her heart rate was dropping during this whole thing. I was actually going into preterm labor, and they rushed me in to deliver her immediately.
Well, it's a blessing. They're all here
Yes.
and hanging out, eating
Yes.
on your farm.
Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna get back. We're
backyard
gonna get
farm.
back to the backyard farm and how she, feeds all 5 of them. But it's good to know that you were able to navigate all of these different options, and that you were able to not only succeed in it, but also be able to sit on platforms like this one and give us some insight from so many different perspectives. Because I think that choices and options, they give me comfort. So I hope that they also give other women who are excited about motherhood like I am, to, not let the fear mongering kind of get them. And one of those options is a doula midwife. So I wanted to make sure I swung it over to you, because it's almost something old and something new all at the same time. So can you tell us who you are and where you fit in the birthing process?
Yes, for sure. And thanks for having me. I'm naturopathic Dr. Mai HEATH. I'm also a birth doula. I am a childbirth educator. And I'm not a midwife, but I love that you said that.
Okay.
Because a lot of folks get the two confused.
Please
They
educate me.
get too confused. So doulas are non-medical supporters, labor and delivery supporters, or we've got antepartum doulas or prenatal doulas. You got postpartum doulas. You even have loss and bereavement doulas, end of life doulas, and abortion doulas. But doulas really help folks to transition from one place in life to another, whereas a midwife, whether you be a certified nurse midwife or a certified professional midwives, are medical professionals. They are clinicians. They're going to be checking the cervical os. They're going to be checking the blood pressure and all that, but doulas won't do any of that.
Okay. So historically, and what I mean by historically, specifically for Black women, like my mother-in-law says, she came here via midwife.
Yes.
So that was the medical professional of the time, and
Yes.
correct me anytime, that got the majority of some of our ancestors and foremothers and fathers here. And this is before
Yes.
the medical practice.
Yes.
So can you give me some history on like how did we get from there to this and then back to that?
Yes, I love that. And just to not marginalize the doula. Doulas are important. Doulas there's so much evidence behind all the, efficacy and the benefits of doulas. I've been a doula for 12 years now. But you're right about the midwives, the granny midwives, the grand midwives that brought in so many of our ancestors when the medical system, the healthcare system did not allow us in their doors, did not allow us in their walls, and we were having to birth at home. And just to kind of speak a little bit to what you were asking, there was a shift between like being birthed at home and being birthed in hospital. When we were able and welcome to be, welcomed into the hospital system, have an obstetrician, which were more than likely white male, there was even like a sense of pride, like, my brother was born at home, but I was born in a hospital. And that is a change that it's kind of, it had its place, I guess, in the time period, early last century and things like that. But we're really changing that narrative now, especially that more research is done with us in mind, and we can see the numbers and we can see that being in the hospital is not always best. And, being a naturopath, being a doula, I have to always give the disclaimer. I'm not all or nothing. I believe in an integrative health model. Sometimes we need surgical births. Sometimes we need cesarean births or pharmaceuticals and drugs, but not always.
Okay.
And just like that you were saying, they're approaching your friend like, okay, well, we think we know your story because of how you look. That sometimes that can work against us.
Right,
and can work against them
stereotypes
too.
are definitely challenging. Can you let us know? So naturopath, I know
Yes.
it's a word that my mom used, and people would look at her like she was weird or doing something, different and holistic and right. So
Crystals and
now,
stuff.
now things are catching up. Can you explain what that is?
Oh, I'd love to. Yeah. So naturopathic doctors are primary healthcare practitioners. I studied at the Canadian College of Naturopathic Medicine in Toronto, Ontario, one of the accredited AANMC, so American Association of Naturopathic Medical College accredited programs. We have other programs. As a matter of fact, we have one of those programs in Illinois,
That's
in
good
Lombard.
news.
But Illinois is the only state that does not have licensure for naturopathic doctors. So even though you might go out and pass your board exams and spend all this money to get these degrees, but then, if you're in Illinois, you really got one hand behind your back because you're not a medical professional like some of the other states have licensure for. Some states even have Medicaid coverage for naturopathic doctors.
And not
Illinois.
Well, we can't win at everything, but that's definitely something that has to get on the list for sure.
But just to answer your question, because I really didn't, but naturopaths, we are medically trained but holistically focused. We believe that there is a hierarchy to care. You don't, if you got a runny nose, you don't just run straight to surgery, right? You might have to remove obstacles to cure. You might want to work on getting your body to a place where it can have a balance, where it can heal itself, things like that.
Okay.
So,
So not straight to drugs, not straight to the worst case scenario, doing things in order before you get all the way to the top, which is, I think, sometimes what we feel. We got a small ache and all of a sudden, I'm in surgery. And then you have the fear that's in a lot of Black women, Black people when it comes to even going to the doctor, because the assumption is I stubbed my toe and they working on my heart. I mean, the jokes that you hear, amongst your elders about the fear of that space. So definitely think of a doula and a midwife as a part of a team. Yes. Definitely working in tandem. When I think about anything historically that I've seen where I see a birthing scene and name that slave movie, or you see, the woman that's giving birth, you see the midwife, and then there are these aunties or these coaches that have to, I guess, get your mind right. Because if I think about history and I think about slavery, there's no epidural, there's no sanitation. There's nothing. And you have less than nothing. And all you have are these women.
Yes.
You have these women that are connected to you, connected to nature. You've probably had fresh food the entire time because we're milling the land. And you end up being able to birth, a nation when we think about the sheer numbers of it. So when we hear people say, well, my grandmother had 13 kids and why can't we have one now? What do we say to that? What's the difference? Because if we think about where we think medicine is now versus when we think about or we judge those times that we didn't live in, we say, well, how were they surviving and we're dying?
That's an interesting question. I mean, maternal mortality was a thing then too. I mean, even though we were working the land and all that, we weren't reaping the benefits of those things. And you would be working up till you drop that baby, and then you drop that baby, and you get right back to the work that you were doing. So, maternal mortality. I think that I know that a lot of the negative outcomes that we have now actually stem from when our ancestors were enslaved,
right?
Even on a cellular level, and when they were developing the foundation and the experimentation and all of that to do with gynecology,
right?
It marginalized us and it harmed us, and those roots are still in the healthcare system today. So we often have to suss through those sort of things. But to answer your question, because I had a grandmother that had 13 babies too. So how did that happen?
That is a wild number. So many people hit 13.
And I think it could have been when those folks were healthy and such. You said, not me. No, okay. But when those folks, perhaps it was when they were healthy and they were able to have little ones that they were able to give live birth to. Perhaps it was not having that overvigilance of the healthcare system. Perhaps it was being left to their own devices when they had that care, and when they were able to do what they physiologically needed to do. Because that's something we were talking about, all the fear. But birth is a natural physiological process, in a healthy and normal situation. Not everybody is able to be in a healthy and normal situation, and they need intervention. But outside of that, that's not the case.
Because this was happening before the healthcare system, which takes us to what I would say the guru of the healthcare system, boots on the ground, as it relates to where we're at when you get into the hospital, right? This is where the moment happens. This is where you feel the safest. This is where you feel if something happens, if I could just get to the hospital, I'm okay. If I have a doctor, if I have the right insurance, I'm all right. So you're an absolute guru to me, because when I think about anything in nursing, I hear amazing stories about anybody who has touched the nursing space first and how much respect and reverence over, honestly, every other letter you can put behind, as many letters as you have behind your name. The nursing piece, everybody says, is just an extra level of care. And then for you to take it up a notch and really study so many different things as it relates to that is amazing to me. But that emergency room work, it feels like, all of you Grey's Anatomy fans, it's like, nah, this is real life. So tell them who you are, Dr. DeBush.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely.
Dr. Harita Nichelle, thank you for putting us in this place and space. I am Dr. Nichelle Bush. I am a practicing, family emergency trauma nurse practitioner. So I'm Dr. Nurse. And I am a clinician that practices emergency medicine as well as urgent care and family medicine. And so I work in a space and a place where people that come to see me in the emergency room, that's where I practice mostly, are in dire straits, whether it's in a trauma or some sort of tragedy, some other health issue, maternal health issues. From A to Z, the vast majority of people that come to the emergency room are seeking desperate health needs or desperate health help for whatever their concern is. And so listening to the other beautiful young lady sitting next to me, I want to address a few things. Yes, I'm a clinician. I practice emergency medicine every day, all day. I try to save as many people's life as interact with me.
I'm
okay?
a drink to that
Okay.
because
Yeah, you was gonna say,
I've
you
never
know.
saved anybody's life. I don't think. And you got numbers of lives you saved,
honey,
and that's worth toasting.
But I'm gonna say something. Our lives, Black lives, are vastly impacted by not only the places and spaces that we are in, i.e., healthcare scenarios and
Yep.
hospital, outside the hospital, naturopathic scenarios, but also lack of education,
Okay.
lack of information, lack of resources. Should I go on? Lack of economic.
Lack.
Can I just say all of that in a mouthful to say we are already have the deck stacked against us when we walk in the door. Okay, and then you take somebody who's not really well versed in what to say and do when they finally get to the ER, giving history or what you may mention before. Sometimes it doesn't equate. So, in one instance, I heard you say that you came to the ER, you came to the hospital, you actually gave your health history.
Yes.
That's a beautiful thing, to be equipped with what your health concerns are. To somebody like me, it's beautiful because I'm like, oh, I know what I need to do, right? I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to order this, I need to order that for her.
Right.
But unfortunately, your second experience, like you were mentioning, even having health history, knowing what your health history is, doesn't mean that you're safe from the circumstances outside of what your health history is.
Right.
Preeclampsia. Eclampsia is a circumstance that is truly devastatingly dangerous.
It is.
Not only to the baby, but to you.
Yes.
And sometimes it's out of your control what happens with this very delicate balance of preeclampsia and eclampsia. And so in that circumstance, in her first delivery that she had to have C-section, right? You were equipped and your baby was term, 38 weeks is term. So it was a lot of good that came and awareness about what happened with you, and the timing of what happened with you was when he was 38 weeks along. Perfect, he did fine, he had no issues, you had no issues.
Right.
Unfortunately, subsequent pregnancies, especially in African American women, put you at higher risk for other circumstances, preterm birth being one of them.
Right.
That is what my research is. Preterm births in African American women, as well as health disparities in African American women, especially prenatal concerns, as well as disparities amongst our population of women. There are so many marginalized communities, including women, African American women, Latino women, Asian women, that we suffer the greatest from. 40% of African American women who have a birth end up in preterm delivery and or death.
Is that systematic or on purpose if we want to call a spade because
Well, let's be real.
40% is that's heavy.
It's very heavy. And guess what? People didn't even take notice of it until it was happening on their watch. Like, oh, what's going on? These women are dying. Like, what's happening here? It took a whole pandemic for somebody to say, what's really happening with these Black women?
So we're in there for our mask to get our shots because COVID. And it's
no.
like, wow, this is happening too?
No. When I say that, I mean the emergence of a whole global health crisis.
Oh.
So this was going on before that, right? As we so noted, and
Yes.
as Mai reached out and said, maternal deaths were happening even before we got to come inside the hospital. When Black people were not able to come have care at the hospital because of our race, we were having births at home. There were many losses
Right.
at that time. Lack of concern about preeclamptic circumstances. We didn't know a lot about preeclamptic circumstances. Lack of resource,
Education,
preterm
as you said, yep.
deliveries, hemorrhaging. Women hemorrhaged a lot of times from deliveries. Didn't know that they were hemorrhaging until it was too late. There were a plethora of concerns that occurred before modern medicine really took shape, and that's what Mai just pointed out. However, due to the systemic concerns from way back then all the way through now, those rates of preterm deliveries and deaths and high rates of mortality stuck with us. Worsening health conditions, worsening health outcomes stuck with us through the years. So during this global pandemic, it kind of highlighted what we already knew.
Right.
And that was there's continued disparities amongst African American populations, men and women, but even worse in African American women. And so even though we probably have the most awareness about our concern now, everybody wants to get on the bandwagon now. All the senators,
I think it hit a
everybody in
reality
the
TV
world.
show and something hit and it was like,
Because-
Dr. Such and such
Because now
said
it's-
something. Yeah.
Yeah, because now it's
It's popular.
to have a discussion about what disparities are here. Well, we knew that already. Okay. African American knew that women and men too knew that already, that we were always like stacked. The deck was stacked against us always, and that's because we had lack of resource, lack of access to care, lack of education, lack of funding, lack of other added resources, lack of food. Can we talk about in Chicagoland?
Being able to eat healthy to be able to let the baby thrive in advance.
Our Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated has launched a specific program to enable children, because we already know Black children don't even get food. Our organization has launched a program to enable food offering to kids at school.
Specifically to advance their lunch options.
And their learning and their everything else that it affects. So
absolutely.
I'm just making that point to say, before there was ever a thing about disparities, there was really a thing about disparities, right?
Yep.
Okay.
It's like it went from a capital D to a lowercase d back up to a capital D. But I know that there's ton to fear. And I know that the goal is for us to figure out, okay, we're here. There have always been systems against us. There have always been odds against us. And we've still been able to produce human beings.
Well, the part that you eloquently pointed out about the fear, African American populations have traditionally felt the fear of going in to be seen, going in to see your doctor, going in to have health checkups. They're afraid of what they're going to find out, you know. And that mistrust comes from years of us being mistreated in the healthcare system. And I will say that that's really the only basis of the fear and the mistrust going on. However, with emergence of now more information about mortality and morbidity in African American populations and women specifically, people are becoming aware and say, oh, you know, I really do. I don't mind going in to see somebody who looks like her.
Right.
They walk in the ER, they'd be so happy to see my face. Oh, sister. They'd be like, sister.
So that's the good news. It's almost like if we ensure that we have resources for more of girls that look like your daughters, yours, you know, our sons to go into these professions, then that immediately it seems to advance the trust and get us to go into medical spaces, because it seems like everything has to work in congruency. You can't say I'm not going to the hospital, and you can let me know, or you can say, so if I'm developing a team, am I trying to develop a dream team? I don't want to leave out the naturopath. I want to have a doula. I want to have a mommy mentor. I want to have somebody that's in the, you know, in the hospitals to kind of be my village, right? So if I want to find the sweet spot where I can tackle what this battle is, right? Because I can find the joy in it. But who's the team, Mai? Like who do I need to have? Mai, let me see what Mai says. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think that's a great question. And I think that your success in birth in particular is who you have in that birth room. Okay. That sacred space. And I think that it's good to find a healthcare practitioner that you're comfortable with and that you can trust, but that is open to your autonomous decision making, is open to collaborative experiences around your health, and is open to interacting with your specialist. I don't want an OB that's like, I'm not going to talk to your doula, or I'm not going to engage with your naturopathic doctor. I'm not going to engage with your, you don't want that. You want a collaborative team that's going to support you. And I think that is really what patient-centered care is. And our and I have a nonprofit org that focuses on health equity and things like that. And we're actually trying to define for our community, Black patients, birthing capable patients, medically vulnerable patients. What does patient-centeredness mean to us? And I think that touches on some of the things that you were just talking about and you were just saying. And I think too, you were saying to me earlier, like, don't think that everybody knows the numbers. When you look at the numbers, so I got 3 daughters too. My first 2 were born in Toronto, where we were living. If you were birthing in the United States, no matter your ethnicity, you are already 2 times as likely to suffer a fatality, so maternal mortality or birthing person mortality, than if you were in Canada.
40%. Shout out to United States
That's the first thing.
healthcare.
Now, if you are Black and in our country, you are 3 times more likely to die than your white counterpart. But that doesn't stop there, sis. You in Chicago, you are 6 times more likely to pass away in childbirth or the year after birth than a white person. And I just also want to say this because Nichelle was talking about, we're just looking at these numbers. We don't talk about the indigenous population too. I know we black folks, and nobody dies more than us, than our babies or than us in birth. But the very next number, or the very next ethnic group is actually Native people or indigenous folks. And I just wanted to say too, one other thing is that I don't think that we should fear birth. Even with all of these numbers and all these things, I don't think that we should be afraid. I think, like I said, it is for the most part, in a healthy and normal pregnancy, it is a natural physiological occurrence, and your body will do what your brain thinks. So it's like in part, you do have to have that kind of resilience that we tend to have. You know, now I'm not saying, look, Nichelle, right? Nichelle got tight. I'm not saying that there's something really going on. We ain't gonna ignore it now.
Because you get everything right.
Right.
You get everything right. She gave the health history. Sometimes things are out of your control, as in preeclampsia, eclampsia, uncontrolled hypertension, diabetes. Who knows what all the factors are? She did all the right things, and she probably had a very unique health team. I'm gonna say unique.
Very unique.
Okay. So you can do all the right things.
But
you have to empower yourself with the knowledge, and that's what I'm saying.
As much as knowledge as you can.
Not only for getting yourself ready to get pregnant, right? Like, making sure you're optimal weight, making sure you don't have other health conditions that could, impede circumstances, making sure you know if you have a sickle cell trait, making sure you know if you have thalassemia or anemia. Those are really big factors.
So where do I go, right? If I want to say, okay, I'm here, I'm ready to have a baby, and I want to do all those things Dr. Bush said on that podcast. Okay. What's step one?
Start with finding a provider who you really like. Whether it's an MD or an NP who practices allopathic medicine, or a naturopathic doctor who also practices holistic medicine. Someone who can help you do the pre-work. So get your blood work done, making sure all of the things come back with a clean bill of health. And if they don't, okay, we got to work on this first. I need to drop about 20 pounds first.
Okay.
Or if we need to ramp you up on folic acid before you have the baby, start to conceive, then let's do that first.
So do some pre-work.
Yes, you
and
have to.
And this is, because I know some women have themselves on a timeline, but if I want to have a baby in 2 years or 3 years, these are practices that I can start now. I don't have to wake up one day and say I want to have a baby this year.
Because if you get pregnant and you haven't done that work, now again the deck is stacked against you, and now you got to fight against those risk factors you don't know about, and you don't know till you get pregnant that you're even in that risk category.
So it's prevention.
So, it is.
Yeah, it's prevention.
Knowledge is power.
Yeah.
The more you know, the better you can be for you and for baby and your outcome.
I love it. So, Mama, would you ever? I mean, if you were planning number 6, and this is just truly hypothetical, how do you? I don't want to say remove, but how do you go into it with everything you've been through? With a positive spirit, a positive outlook, with having so much knowledge, because your history, I'm sure that trickled down, and your kids' history. You don't play about them and their doctor's appointments. And I'm just thinking about me. It's intense. And how do you say, I'm going to do it again?
If I decided that I wanted to have another child, I would definitely build a team beforehand and start well before I decide to get pregnant. Like I did with my last baby, I definitely had a team of people that were not only that could advocate for me in the instance that I couldn't advocate for myself, but to remind me and to make sure that I'm doing the things that I'm supposed to be doing. Like, okay, are you, taking care of yourself? Are you exercising like you're supposed to? Are you taking your vitamins? Are you doing this? It's important that we have extra people that'll check in with us and make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to do. And also, there are also doulas that'll help you before you even decide to conceive a child that, will help you. Like, okay, these are the things that you need to make sure you're nutritionally balanced, even though that's a medical care thing, but they will tell you, like, eat this or eat that, give you some dietary hints on what you should be consuming beforehand.
I like the idea
like
of a team.
I don't know if that equates to what you're saying, but you're giving yourself a running start for the best outcome for you
Right.
and for baby and your spouse. Really,
Yeah.
you all should all be on the
On
same
one accord.
page and doing the same things, getting really healthy and, like you said, nutritionally doing
Yes,
all the
because you want good
things.
quality seed too, because that definitely
That
plays
part.
a factor.
Because you
Yes.
said a team, and I'm going to go back to what you said. You said good quality
Seed
seed
from your spouse or your partner, making sure that they're doing those things, those health
to make
things.
sure that their seeds are quality.
Yes, yes.
So I want to go back to your team because I want to make sure that we're clear. You're not just speaking of a medical team. You had other support.
So I had my husband take some doula classes so that he can help me. Daddy doulas are
Daddy
Are-
doulas.
yes.
I love
Yes.
it.
daddy doulas are everything. My auntie stayed with us so that she can help offset with my other kids to help me through my pregnancy so that I'm not over or stressing about anything, because toxic stress is another thing that we experience as
The village
birthing people.
counts.
It does. It does.
the
That
village
village and
counts.
that team. I also have a friend who's a radical doula. When I say radical doula, she is radical, okay? Jasmine Boda, so she definitely helped me a lot. So you have to have a team outside of the medical field, even though, when you go in those spaces, sometimes you have to armor yourself because you don't know who you're going to. Even if you go into your doctor's appointment, the people in the hospital are totally different than who you're getting in clinic. They're a different team. They're a different set
You
of
have
people.
to ask questions too.
Ask
Like,
questions, yes.
If I could say one thing about that, I always talk to patients about. I'm that provider that makes sure that when you leave me, number one, you ain't coming back. Number two, you're empowered with the information that if something's wrong, if you feel not yourself, if things are going awry, I need you to come back.
Right.
Yes.
Right? Don't just blow it off. It could be nothing or it could be really something.
Right.
Understand that you have to ask the appropriate questions and you have to know
Yeah.
what's what. Like you have to know what's going on with your body. You have to know, if you don't have, like, seriously, young ladies coming all the time, I'm like, so when's the first day of your last period? They go get their phone.
Yes.
Oh, let me find out.
Remember the
There's an
number?
app for that. There's an app for that, right?
You want us to remember the date, like off the top?
That is
Oh.
it's your body.
Because it should be clockwork, and I'm just now a clockwork girl. Like I
that's what I'm
wasn't
saying.
always okay.
That's what I'm saying. Know that if 5 days late, something's going on. I need to see.
All listening
have I
to your
gained
body
a lot of
stuff,
weight in
yeah.
the last couple of
I
months?
appreciate
Have
that.
I lost a little weight? Yeah.
I appreciate that you're the kind of practitioner or the clinician that's going to be like, okay, I want to make sure that you know what to look out
Right.
for. And that makes me think of a young mom that I was working with recently. And her whole pregnancy, she's like borderline preeclampsia, right? Borderline, that sort of thing. But the treatment for preeclampsia or eclampsia is delivery. She gave birth to her, but she went to spontaneous labor, so no induction, right? Gave birth to her baby. She goes home. She has a crisis because so many thoughts. Her medical staff didn't let her know that you can actually get eclampsia postpartum.
Pregnancy.
Yes.
After you deliver your baby, you could still get eclampsia. They did not brief her. They did not tell her yellow signs, red signs to look out for. Come back because of this. And so she had a crisis. And it is important to empower yourself and to know what questions to ask. But if you don't know, you don't know. And most patients don't have that degree or that,
Right. So if I'm pregnant right now, what is my sign of preeclampsia or eclampsia? So right now, something happens. What am I thinking? I need to run to the doctor for, Nichelle.
You would have to, of course, your blood pressure. That's the key number one. Headaches, nausea and vomiting.
Outside of
Dizziness.
first trimester, or like if I think, I'm pregnant, I'm supposed to be vomiting. I'm supposed to be nauseous.
That's the thing.
Okay.
So that's empowering yourself to know that, I have to be very cognizant of, headaches and dizziness and nausea and vomiting. I have to have my blood pressure checked frequently.
Okay.
These are signs.
So you should have a machine at home.
Well, I'm
That's
not saying go freak
overkill?
yourself out and
Okay.
take your blood pressure every day. I'm saying have a regular, maybe weekly,
Okay.
every other week. And if you are creeping up, now you got to do it more frequently. In pregnancy, you have a lot of fluid shifts, and those fluid shifts cause a lot of heart concerns, especially if you were, traditionally
Right.
in a normal pattern, blood pressure pattern. And now we've got all this added fluid to deal with in your body, and now the blood pressure skyrocket. And, you know, your hemoglobin spikes these concerns in your brain. And so you can seize and have, you know, really bad, you know, outcomes. And so empowering yourself in early pregnancy, any of that, is paying attention to the way you feel. Your gut tells you if something's wrong. Secondly, if you have like blood or anything in your urine, that tells you again it's a physiologic sign that something's wrong. If I have a headache that's not going away and worsening, it's like the worst headache of my life, I need to be seen in the emergency room.
So don't tell yourself this will pass or you know anything like that. So I want to play a little game. So I'm going to get in your business a little bit because I'm happy that I got a dope team because I've recruited each of you in my process. So today's the day we all go together. But
we've been going together.
Exactly. So it's one thing, and you guys could let me know if it's a bias, but you all are mothers. I only feel safe with mothers, right? Is that a natural inclination to, if I'm even picking a team, I almost want you to have done it first. So I'm going to start with you. Anybody on your village, not even a birth mother, let me say that can speak to it?
I think, well, my auntie never had kids.
Okay.
But she's, you know, helped raise all of us. So, but that's the only one. Everybody else pretty much is a mom. You need a mom expert from day one, probably. I would suggest that on top of all of your medical and mental emotional support that you have.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So if I got a napropath and I got a doula and a whole team, should I be judgy based on, you know, if you push some out?
Well, I say it's naturopath.
Naturopath.
Yeah.
I put 2 P's in it.
Yeah, you did, but no worries. I think for me, no.
Okay.
But each one of us are individuals, and the things, our life experiences have brought us to where we are. So wanting to have someone who can identify with, having a vaginal birth or a surgical birth, C-section birth, if that's something that's important to you, then prioritize it. Don't judge yourself behind that. For me, it wasn't, a priority or a necessity necessarily, but I couldn't help but have a lot of mothers around me, and doulas are notorious for mothering the mother or mothering the birthing person. So, you just kind of doulas will bring that to the space because I would say at least my approach to birth work and to doula work is I want you to feel like the queen that you are all the time. I want to wait on you hand and foot, and that whole idea of patient-centeredness. I give this kind of analogy to people all the time. I say the birthing person, you are the center of the universe. You're the sun, the doctor revolves around you, the midwife revolves around you. The doctor is not the center of the universe. You are. You the captain of the team, the captain of the ship, you the quarterback, all of that. And doulas will naturally bring that to it. So they're going to mother you.
So I would be concerned. Okay, I like that. I'm going into the hospital and I'm picking out my team, and it is, I don't know, she just got out, she's 20 something, waist still snatched, hips intact, and she's gonna help me give birth. Should I feel away?
So I will say, none of my OB providers were ever young. I wanted an old white man fart. Somebody who's been doing it for so serious.
Right. Yeah.
I want you to know what you're doing.
Yep.
I want somebody with experience. And luckily, I had a really great team. I actually, little known fact, if you are a premature baby, your risk of having a premature baby is half, 50%.
Wow.
So I already knew going into any pregnancy, I was a preemie. I was a very early preemie. My mom was also a preemie. So
but how many have you had?
I have 4, and 3 of the 4 were preemie. So I knew going in, I was probably at a higher risk, and I picked a team that dealt with high risk pregnancy.
Being educated about yourself and your own birthing story, and it's interesting that you know exactly, which we can even say is a point of privilege for people to know their story, how they got here, what was going on. So if you have the opportunity to sit with your parents, if they're still in the body, ask about your story. Ask what happened with you to educate yourself on what may happen with you. So I want to get into some fun stuff. I always bring this thing back to sex, right? Every part of my platform is about Black women and sex. And rumor has it, one, the most fun you have planning a pregnancy is the sex part, but not to become calculated. And then I've heard that some of the best sex you've had is while pregnant. So I wanna set the record straight or crooked and ask each of you all, you know, first, how do you, if you're planning a pregnancy or if working with someone that's planning a pregnancy, how do you keep them on keeping the joy and the spontaneity along with the calculations of the ovulation of the conkers and the bunkers and whatever?
Well, don't
how do you
be
balance that
caught
out?
up in that. Let me dial you back a little bit.
Okay.
Stop being worried about calculations.
Just do
I'll
it.
drink to that.
Okay. Number one, if you're in health, if your health is in check, your husband's health is in check.
Just do it.
That's the part. Yeah, I know so many people who have had problems with infertility. A lot of African American women, we have too much stress. Say it loud.
Toxic
Too much stress surrounding so many topics, so many opportunities to conceive. And
you
conceiving and you probably know this, conceiving a child is very systematic. It doesn't just happen.
Yep.
It's very systematic. And if you add stress or diabetes, added sugar,
You throw off the system.
So I will say, and I know you're prepping, I want you to do what's working for you.
Mm-hmm.
Get health in order.
Yep.
All things health. Like I said, checking your A1C, checking your metabolic panel, checking your CBC, making sure you're not anemic, have thalassemia, sickle cell trait, all of that. Both of you have to do the same thing because, and I don't know if you will even remember this, if your mom ever told you this, Miss Sharon was very wise, and I know she had a lot of stories.
She up there picking our kid out.
I mean, she is. You know she is. You know she is. Back in the day in Illinois, you used to have to do premarital testing before you got married because your genes and your spouse's genes sometimes don't I'm not gonna say they don't mix. They mix, but there are complications that can occur when they mix.
Because of the
right, and that used to be a state mandate. Before, I don't even know what year they got rid of that. But it used
and
to be a
now
state
you
mandate.
have to have a good insurance plan and some coin to
To
get the
do
blood
that
work
testing.
to see that it matches. So to the same point, everything starting with your mind is the main component of your work and understanding how you think affects everything else. So when it comes to planned sex or sex while planning a pregnancy, what is some of your advice on kind of keeping your mind in the, I don't know, whatever the right space could be?
You asking me that one?
Yeah.
Look, can I just say, hold on, I got excited to answer the question. I really want, can I talk about sex during pregnancy and helping getting you into labor? Can I talk about
Sure.
Can I just say that?
She said skip that. She said let's go back.
But I'll say that the one thing I'll say about sex for conception is your your chances of conception increase if you have orgasm, or if you orgasm following the, ejaculation or whatever. So even if you need to go and like pleasure yourself or something after, like orgasm after, because that will increase your likelihood of actually conceiving.
Well, shout out to orgasming every time. I don't even understand why you're running a race and not finish.
Okay.
But I hear you.
That's a
But
given.
you're saying that if you have an orgasm, this increases your chance.
Yes.
Seminal
that's a good treat.
fluid needs a vehicle.
Oh.
And then Nichelle was talking about how the fluid increase because you have your blood volume increases like a third. So okay,
Wow.
even more than a third, 50%. That is a lot of that. Sorry, a
You
lot
done
of
said
that.
clit.
I mean,
Sorry,
She did.
I've
She
been
gave us a
thinking.
drink disclaimer.
Sorry.
Shout out to the prickly pear martini. Shout out to the PP.
I was trying to say that that blood volume is in your reproductive organs. So of course it can be very enjoyable for people. You got more blood flow going on. You're more sensitive. All that kind of stuff. So I'll save the. Unless you want me to talk about sex for getting into labor induction, if you want me to. But.
No, but I'll call you when I think it's time.
Well,
So,
they said the same
with
way
the
you
same-
get the baby there is the best way to get the baby out.
Shout out to nature.
Yes.
Shout out to nature. Well, this has been enlightening for me specifically, and I think that we absolutely found the words to say, hey, I want to start this process. And you don't know if you want to start it in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, but it's never too early to get blood work done. It's never too early to start educating yourself. And when you have a lot of advocates are on all the social media platforms that are just giving us information for no cost, just kind of teaching us. And it's on us to digest it, dissect it, fact check it for sure, and craft who your team is, and start getting the players in place now. I mean, the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is coming, but you don't want it to be immediate. You want to practice. You want to get your squad together. And I think that we're all excited for the big game, the big McDowell game that we're hoping for. But in the meantime, not overthinking and not over planning, just using our own education in our village to serve as prevention to anything, but controlling how we think and love and being excited about continuing to produce the next generation by any means necessary, you know, because that's kind of what we've always done. So if you guys could let us know where we can find you, what you got coming up next so we can support you, when we can come and visit to check out that yard farm, because I need to get into it. So I'm going to start with you. Where can we find you if you're a social media person, or if you just got anything coming up, or leave you alone, whatever you want to say?
Well, I actually have a non-for-profit called Ebony Mom Circle, NFP, where its main focus is to support mothers postpartum up until 5 years after birth, because it's super important. A lot of times when we have babies, our 6-week checkup is the only thing that we checking in with. We need somebody checking in with us more often.
Ebony Moms. I like that.
Yes. So you can check me out on Instagram at Ebony Mommy Circle, and Anticipating Magic _89. I'm there.
I love it. Okay. Well, Doula, where do we find you? And you always got some good stuff coming up.
Well, you can find me personally on all the platforms. I'm Dr. Mai HEATH ND. You can find my nonprofit NDoula Community Alliance, and that's ND like a naturopathic doctor. So NDoula Community Alliance on all the platforms. And coming up, we have patient advocacy program, and all of our services are free. We're a nonprofit. So if you want to debrief after a medical appointment, you want to chat with someone to prep for a medical appointment, you need help birth planning, anything like that, we have patient advocates. We have a mentorship program, and we're having an herbal virtual workshop this June.
I love it.
Hit us up for sure.
Oh, thank you. And Dr. Bush, where can we find you?
I'm everywhere. You know, I'm everywhere. You know, you can always get me.
Yeah.
I am on, social media, but I'm not. I don't do a lot of practice because I don't work for free.
Absolutely not. You see the rock.
She said, look.
Yeah, I don't work for free.
But make sure you look for the face when you go into any of these facilities. There's always a Dr. Bush in the place.
Empowering yourself.
Yep.
Getting the team, your dream team together, and of course making sure your ducks are in a row. You and your spouse ducks are in a row. Helps you have a healthy birth and a healthy outcome. Mm-hmm. But what hinders us is that we don't seek out the appropriate knowledge. And so, speaking from the standpoint of healthcare, I will say the more that we know, the better we do.
Absolutely.
We do better if we can kind of empower, especially African American women, empowering African American women to find their voice.
Yes.
Meaning, get yourself in order. Don't wait till you're already ill. Now you're talking about wanting to plan a pregnancy. That sets you up for failure.
Get yourself in order.
Get yourself in order. Lose those pounds. Get that A1C in order. Get the CBC in order. The anemia is in order. That helps you, prepares you, and prepares baby for a healthy outcome.
So you're literally preparing a place
Yes.
for your baby to grow and nest. So if you are preparing a place, that tells the universe, that tells your village, that tells everybody that you're serious, because they can see it. They can see it in how much you're taking care of yourself, how much you're loving yourself. So that's all this has been about, really self-love and self-efficacy, and being accountable for your own birthing plan. So we can beat this thing. We always do. Shout out to our sponsor, who's also a mom, who's also a Black mom, who's also a Chicago girl, who decided that this podcast was worth her putting her stamp and her money on. So shout out to the owner of the Beauty Genie for sponsoring. I found my words. So thank you so much to my amazing cast. This is our last toast of the night. Shout out to more beautiful Black babies.
Yes.
Cheers. Thank you.
in the valley where the girls get naked. Yeah, I'm in the valley where the girls get naked. Yeah, I'm in the valley where the girls get naked. Yeah, I'm in the valley where the girls get naked. Yeah, I'm in the valley where the girls get naked. Yeah, I'm in the valley where the girls get naked.
Ain't nothing to it. Real one. Ain't nothing to it. Boss. Ain't nothing to it. Nothing to it. Real one. Ain't nothing to it. It's nothing. Boss. I pay the cost. Ooh, gon' take it all. Take it all. I record, then I ball. I ignored a lot of calls. Click, click. You ain't talking about nothing. I ain't got no time. Got that dinero on my mind. Ooh, I got real problems just like you. Tell that trick I don't like you. Ain't nothing to it. Real one. Ain't nothing to it. Boss. Ain't nothing to it. Real one. Ain't nothing to it. I bounce. Real one. I'm a boss.
Baby, I love the way we act so civil with each other. We can giggle with each other, we can nibble on each other when we make love. The way we be crippling each other. Yeah, got me feeling like you're really dipping me in butter. Closing every door, now we closing every shutter. I'm loving every single thing about us now, especially how you want me to come and meet your mother. Baby, please make no mistake. Every single little thing about you great. You know you already belong to me, baby. Yeah. But I'd rather leave it in the hands of fate. Mommy, know you motivate me to be your one-man team, willing to protect you, lay you down, and quickly taste your cream filling.
And when we're done, I wanna feel my and when we're done, I just wanna feel your hands all over me, baby. You can't stop it. Music still plays. Keep your eyes on me, apply that. Get it, don't be timid when you in it, apply that. Love upon it, live alone, leave it. I don't want no drip, baby, spread like it's really so fine. It's spicy, baby, jump up on this. I guess that's why you like it, baby, come and get this. Takes a lot to excite me, baby, give it all you got. I'm a dub cookie, baby, get the right side. Why you texting me, you know I won't reply. Why you ain't with me when I wasn't this fly? Now I'm on top and now I'm riding sky. Don't need nobody, but I'll take you down tonight. And now I'm okay with being nasty. You can hop for all these clothes anyway. My body dripping, but you gon' have to wait. But when you get it, lick it like a candy cane. Keep your eyes on me, apply. Get it, don't be timid when you in it, fly. Love upon it, live alone, leave it. Say I don't want no drip, baby, spread like it's really so fine. Spicy, baby, jump up on it. I guess that's why you like it, baby. Come and give this. Takes a lot to excite me, baby. Give it all you got. I'm a dub cookie, baby. Get the right stuff.
Big old freak, big booty, big old tree. I'ma make him wait for the cook. Wait, chitties in these big old skis. Ay, feet on the bed. Ay, I mess him up in the head. Kiss it, then look in his eyes. Then the next day I might leave him on red. Ay, pop it, daydreaming about how I rock it. He hit my phone with a horse, so I know let me come over and ride it. Wait, I'm on the way. Ride on that thing, I'm like, hey. Usually I like to cut, but tonight we gon' make love 'cause you play. Nobody know. I be with him on the low. We never show up together, but I text him when I'm ready to go. Hey, I had a couple of shots at the bar. I'm finna play with that thing in the car. I got him swerving and breaking the law. These windows tinted so nobody saw. Nobody freaks like me. Nope. Get what you need like me. Nope. Ain't nobody got up on their tiptoes and roll to the tip like me. Hey, I got him addicted, he fiendin'. My body a drug and he need it. He begging me for the treat, begging me. He throw a fit when I leave him. He like, baby, let me rub on you. Like a little love from you. My body addicted, it's driving him crazy. I gotta run from you. Don't know what to do without it. He's messing with you, I doubt it. They don't understand that I'm all in his head and there's nothing to do in my life.
Okay, that's it.
She's a very freaky girl. Yeah. Don't bring her to mama. Yeah. First you get a name, then you get a number. Then you get some in the front seat of the Hummer. Yeah. Then you get some in the front seat of the Hummer. She's a very freaky girl. Yeah. Don't bring her to mama. First you get a name, then you get a number. Then you get some in the front seat of the Hummer. Yeah. Then you get some in the front seat of the Hummer.
Fake it, go kill you. Boy, I know the real you. Fake it, go kill you. Boy, I know the real you. Fake it, go kill you. Boy, I know the real you. Fake it, go kill you. Boy, I know the real
Really
you.
gon' make me expose you for exactly what you are. You are. And I'm feeling a little wavy. So right now I don't mind pulling your car.
Boy, I know the real you. Fake it, go kill you. Boy, I know the real you.
And as hard as you try to hide reality, why we know the truth. So act brand new if you want to. But what would you be without me? What would you be without me? So what you blowing up just a little? They knowing you a little. Give a finger in the middle. 'Cause you will never be without me. What would you be without me? So what you blowing up just a little? They knowing you a little. Give a finger in the middle. 'Cause what I don't recollect your name. Oh baby, I don't know your name. Let me tell you that them heels really compliment your frame. Look at your body, baby. Get the ooh, and I gotta catch my plane. You say you miss me and you're wishing for some private time. Girl, how can we get that way? Girl, how can we get that way?
Look, another day, another dollar. She hate me when I leave, 'cause when I leave, I never call her. That's like ice. I could call you right quick, but if I call you, gon' be like, boo, why we haven't Skyped yet? And a Skype that you say, lay where my flight at. If I decline, then you inquire on where I spend my nights at. This life gets overwhelming and more than hectic, but a woman worth some anger is certainly worth some effort. Just look closer, my life is quite deceptive. Women will sell they soul just to buy some attention. I need something that passive aggression. And when I'm back from off that road, don't ask me no questions, please. Fear what you don't know.
I don't recollect your name. Oh baby, I don't know your name. Let me tell you that them heels really compliment your frame. Look at your body, baby. Ooh, and I gotta catch my plane. Say you miss me and you wishing for some private time. How can we get that way? You're here, I'm pleased. I really dig your company, your style, your smile, your peace mentality. Lord, have mercy on me. I was blind, now I can see what a king's supposed to be. Baby, I feel free. Come on and go with me. Let's take a long walk around the park after dark. Find a spot, us to spark conversation, verbal elation, stimulation. share our situation, temptation, education, relaxation, elevation. Maybe we could talk about Surah 31:18.
Baby, keep on turning me up. Yeah. Baby, keep on turning me up. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just the so many things you do that keeps on turning me up. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Keep doing that thing you're doing to me. That sweet little thing you're doing to me, baby. Yeah, 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 yeah. It's just the so many things you do that keeps on turning me up. Yeah, yeah. Sometimes it makes me want to say,
underway, yeah. Those curbside fun, yeah. Read between the lines, got pennies for your thoughts, pay millions for your mind, yeah. That's what you like, baby, pass and recline. Girl, you got the light, diamonds dancing tonight, and it's feeling like we on a vibe. Trying to turn the day into a lucky night. You know I love it when we kissing right. It's automatic like a 45. With the dash on caution, know anything goes. Stress won't hold now. Once we hit the road, don't you worry about a head. On your pretty little head, let it go. Come and get you a little release. Give me a shot. Open up, I never miss. Girl, I got. Give me time, put you in for sweet. Make it sweet, 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 hey.
Hold on, say this big tune right away.
Yep.
You're rocking with the best.
Enjoy.
DJ Wild Child.
Come pull me close to you. Rock me deep until the morning. Cause by sunrise I'll be gone. I wanna be leaving with someone. I'm here for a good time and you know we both want it. And plus I like to sightsee, and if you invite me, I'll very likely pull up where you are. You got the right fee, or if you entice me end of the night, might set this on your lap. Staring at me too long, might get you in trouble. I'm hypnotizing, I'm just talking facts. one thing Nancy can't understand. One thing Nancy can't understand. What make them a talk about me ambition? So what make them a talk about me ambition? Come for some of them a ask me where me get it from. So some of them a ask me where me get it from. I told them no no it's from creation. I told them no no it's from creation.
Peace and blessings manifest with every lesson learned. If your knowledge were your wealth, then it would be well earned. We were made in His image, then caused by our age. Intellect them not believe in God, but if you was just a then.
This was all I knew, you and me only. And I did it all for you, still you were lonely. We could've worked it out,
but I guess things change. It's funny how someone else's success brings pain. When you're no longer involved, that person has it all, and you just stuck standing there. But
I'm gonna need you to say something, baby. Say something, baby. Say something, baby. Say something. I'm gonna need you to say